Hello and welcome to Yoga with Glenn. I'm Glenn. Today I have full body stretch yoga flow for you. That's hopefully gonna get all your muscles really lengthened and flexible. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. It helps out a lot. I really appreciate it. Hop in some comfy clothes, hop on your mat, and let's get started. To begin, let's meet on our mat, down in table posture. Hips stacked over knees, shoulders stacked over wrists. Release the toes, shoelace side of the foot on the ground, and we'll breathe into some cat-cows here. So with an exhale, let everything go. And with an inhale, go into our cow pose, lifting the tailbone up towards the sky, arching the back, lifting the chin, lifting the chest. And then exhale, just the opposite. Tuck the tailbone, roll through the spine, press the spine up towards the ceiling, and eventually chin falling towards the chest. Inhale, slowly roll into that cow pose, moving with your breath here. And exhale, in for cat. This is great for a spinal warm-up, getting everything, all the joints nice and lubricated. Inhale for cow. And exhale, cat. One more time, each one. Inhale, cow. Really dropping that belly on the cow. And then exhale, cats. Inhale, come back to a neutral table posture. Take the left arm, bring it out to the side, and with an inhale, we'll roll up. And then exhale, bring this hand underneath the opposite armpit and lay the arm down onto the ground. It's going to feel like the back of your arm is on the ground. If it doesn't quite reach the ground, you can grab a prop to help you out here, just to raise the ground up a little bit. Breathe into this posture. The more you breathe into it, the easier it will get. And if you'd like to modify this posture at all, you can bring this arm over behind the back, or you can leave it on the ground in front of the face, or if you'd like, you can kick the right leg back, or you can just stay in the neutral expression of this posture. Just a few breaths to go here, and you can play around with how high or how far down your left elbow is to the knee. Another modification you can do. Go ahead and remove any modifications if you have any. Replace the hand back in front of the face. And with an inhale, we'll lift ourselves up. That counter stretch, and exhale back into that table posture. Readjust yourself if necessary. If you'd like to place a blanket under the knees for some added comfort, you can do so. But with an inhale, we'll extend the right arm this time. Another inhale, take that stretch up, and then exhale as we thread the needle, coming down all the way to the ground. Putting weight on the shoulder here. Again, if you like, you can move the arm up or down. You can take a bind behind the back. You can kick the left leg back this time. Many options available, or you can just stay in the neutral expression. Chin falling towards the chest a bit here, just to bring some comfort to the neck. And breathing. Full inhales through the belly. Easy exhales, bringing that belly towards the spine. If you've taken any modifications here, disassemble them and bring the left arm just in front of the face. And with an inhale, we'll lift ourselves up, take that counter stretch, and exhale back down to a neutral table posture. Now set yourself up for downward dog, and when you're ready, toes tucked, press the hips up and back for downward dog, pressing the chest towards the thighs, pressing through the earth with the hands, trying to get those heels as close to the ground as possible. Take a second here, modify anything you need to, pedal out the knees if you'd like, pedal out the feet. And look towards the front of your mat, and you're going to take a half step, not quite all the way through the hands, but taking a half step. So bring that half step in, setting yourself up for a warrior one. I'm starting with the left foot forward here. When you're ready, rise into that warrior one. Bent front knee. The back leg, the toes are pointed out about 30, 45 degrees, enough to leave the heel on the ground. And our hips are pointed straight on, arms above the head, palms facing in. Go ahead and either take a bind with the hands behind the back, or if that's not comfortable, you can just clasp the hands behind the back here. We're going to straighten the front knee, and we're going to fall over and really feel this stretch on the hamstrings here. If this is too much for you, if you like, you can place your fingers on the ground just to give some added support, or if you have blocks or something to raise the ground up, you can use those as well. We'll try to take about 5 deep breaths here, sink into this posture as much as possible. If you don't quite like your front knee locked out, you can just have a slight bend in the front knee just to make things a little easier if you're a little extra tight. Wherever you are, if you have blocks, place them off to the side. Try to take a bind behind the back and then use power of your arms, power of your upper body, bring yourself back up. Coming back into that warrior one, and then step forward. Place the palms at heart center, adjust the feet so they're about hip width apart towards the front of your mat here. We'll load up into the knees, circle the arms up with an inhale, and exhale. Dive forward, standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step back into high plank, shift forward, lower down all the way to the ground. Release the toes. We're going to press up into high cobra. Knees on the ground here, and then exhale, down. Press yourself up either into table posture and then high plank, or just high plank, and then back into downward facing dog. Readjust yourself as needed, and then we're going to take that half step forward again with the right leg this time, and bring the back leg in just a little bit, and then rising up into that warrior one. Remember, bent front knee, front toes pointed straight, these back toes out just a little bit, enough to leave the heel on the ground. Hips are pointed forward, biceps by the ears, palms facing in. This is warrior one. Now, if you needed blocks on the last pyramid pose and you'd like to have those, you can grab those now. If you'd like to follow along, go ahead and take a bind if you're taking the bind behind the back. Straighten that front leg and then bend over that front knee, trying to rest the torso onto the thigh. Again, if you need that micro bend in this front knee, if you're just extra tight in the hamstrings, that's okay. If you like to release the bind and place the fingers on the ground, that's okay. Whatever you need to do to modify this posture for you. If you're able to, chin falling towards the chest, shaking the head, yes. Wiggle it, no. Make sure the neck is nice and loose. After your next exhale, begin to come out of this posture. Take that bind again and bring the torso up, shoulders over hips. Rebend that front knee, warrior one, and then step forward. Hands at heart center. Go ahead and readjust your feet towards the front of the mat, hip width apart. And we'll bend the knees, drive the arms up, circle the arms up with an inhale. And then exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifts, and exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step back into that high plank. Shift forward, lower all the way down. Forehead on the ground, shoelace side of the foot on the ground. And walk the hands just to the outside of the mat and maybe a little bit down. And then from here, pressing off that shoelace side of the foot. Inhale up into high cobra with the arms just a little bit further apart. Changes the treatment just a little bit. And exhale. Slowly roll back down to the ground. Press yourself up into table. Bring the knees wide to the mat. Bring the big toes to touch. And if you'd like some support, some comfort for your knees, we're going into child's pose. So grab what you like for your support. And then bring yourself down into child's pose. Ideally, hips touching the heels, forehead touching the ground, arms stretched out in front of you. If you'd like to change your leg position, maybe bring the legs wider, bring them closer together, bring the thighs to touch even. Change the arm position if you like. You can have a more active expression of child's pose, coming up onto the fingertips. Or maybe bringing the hands to touch, bringing the thumbs to the back of the neck. And of course, breathing. And if your torso is touching your thighs, take note of where you feel the inhales. As the belly touches the thighs, the breath kind of has no choice but to move maybe to the lower back. You get a nice sensation on the low back as you inhale. Another breath or two to go. Try to find peace through stillness. And after your next exhale, remove any modifications. Bring your arms back down to the mat. We're going to slowly walk our hands towards ourselves, propping yourself up, bringing the legs together if they're not already, and either the toes tucked, sitting on the heels, or sitting on the shoelace side of the feet. Choice is yours in this hero's pose. A breath. You can really feel the difference now that there's no obstruction of the lower belly. Really take note of where the breath is going now. And after an exhale, with an inhale, bring the arms forward and up. And as you exhale, take a twist over to the left side, chin falling towards the back shoulder. Right hand on the left thigh, left hand just to support on the ground behind you. Inhale, chin to front shoulder. And exhale, chin to back. Inhale, arms come up. And exhale, twisting towards the opposite side. Inhale, chin to front shoulder. And exhale, chin to back. Inhale, arms come forward and up. And bring the hands down to the mat. Switch the feet. So if you were shoelace side of the foot on the ground, switch it to where your toes are tucked, and vice versa. My toes were tucked on the first round. Now I'm seated on the shoelace side of my foot here. So same thing. Inhale, arms come up. And exhale, take a twist to the left. Chin falling towards the back shoulder. Inhale, chin to front shoulder. And exhale, chin to back. Inhale, arms come forward and up. And exhale, twisting to the opposite side. Chin falling towards that back shoulder. And with an inhale, chin to front. And exhale, chin to back shoulder. Inhale, arms come forward and up. And exhale, bring the hands down to the mat. Switch your seat. Bring the legs around, come on to the bottom. We're going into a seated forward fold, so if you'd like to assemble any props that you like just to kind of help, I'm going to kind of stack my blanket up so I can raise my hips off the ground and make it a little bit easier for myself to fold forward. But when you're ready, you have your props set. Bring the legs straight out in front of you, toes pointed up. Inhale, arms come up, and then exhale, folding forward. If you're not quite able to touch the torso to the thighs, you can slowly bring the heels towards you until you are able to touch your thighs. Hands either resting on the leg, ankle, feet, ground beside you. Make sure you're breathing into this posture. Really focusing on the breath, really taking deep, fulfilling breaths. I know our torso is against our thighs again, but as deep as you can. Your breath will carry you through these more difficult postures for some. As you're here in this forward fold, seated forward fold, you may notice by now, since just breathing, your body is loosened up a little bit. If you have your knees bent, maybe try pushing the heels away from you a little bit, one heel at a time, slowly Slowly straighten your legs bit by bit. Really focusing on the breath. It's one that takes the mind away from thinking the body's in a panic. Gives you something to focus on. A couple breaths have gone by. Maybe try bringing the heels out just a little bit more. After your next inhale, or your next exhale, as you inhale, slowly walk the hands, pressing yourself up, walk the hands up towards you until you're seated upright. Come off of your props if you are on any props. Come towards the front of your mat, soles of the feet on the ground, knees bent. And then we'll slowly roll ourselves down onto the mat. Knees still bent here. Bring the heels in towards you. Knees about hip width apart. And then we'll extend the left leg, placing the left ankle over the right knee. And if you're limited on space, you can sort of kick your hips over to the left side and then let your assembly fall over to the right. In this figure 4 twist variation. Arms out at a T if you like. Some modifications you can do here. You can, with your arms at a T, you can bring the chin over to the opposite shoulder. You can leave the chin neutral and extend the left arm overhead if you like to feel a side body stretch. You can just stay neutral with the upper body. You can bring the knee that is up in towards you. You can push it away from you. And if you're able to, you can bend the right knee a little bit more and maybe grab it with the left arm. Grab the ankle with the left arm. Or you can just remain neutral. All of the modifications, none of the modifications, somewhere in between. As long as you're breathing through this posture. We only have a breath or two to go. We don't stay in twists nearly as long as other postures. After your next exhale, as you inhale, lift your legs back up to center and then let them fall over to the opposite side. Breathing here. It's okay if your hips feel tight. If your hips are tight, it really your body will let you know in this posture. After an inhale, after an exhale, excuse me, inhale, bring everything back up to center, extend the left leg and place the left foot back on the ground. You're going to recenter yourself if necessary. Bring the heels a little closer to the glutes. And then extend the right leg. Same thing, opposite side, right ankle, across the left knee. Kick the hips over to the right if you need to, and then let everything fall over to that left side. Sole of the right foot on the ground, outer edge of the left ankle on the ground. Same options for modifications apply to this side. Chin falling to the right shoulder. Neck neutral, right arm overhead if you like a side body stretch. Your knee closer or farther away from your left armpit. Grabbing the left ankle with your right arm. Or just remaining neutral with your arms out at a T. Just a couple breaths here. And after an exhale, on an inhale, float everything back to center. And then let your legs fall over to the opposite side. Maybe you've noticed it's a little easier to do it on this side versus the opposite side, or vice versa. Maybe it's a little harder on this side. It's okay, just take note of where your body's tight, where you're feeling loose. After an exhale, inhale, float the legs back to center. Extend the right leg up and then place the sole of the right foot on the mat. Bring the knees to touch and then walk the feet out wide, maybe just outside of the mat, maybe just inside of the outer edge. Wherever is comfortable. You could bring your heels closer in or further away. Breathe into this drawbridge pose. After an exhale, slowly walk the feet back into the center until they touch. Float the feet off the ground, grab a hold of your knees, your shins, something, and just give yourself a nice hug. Get really close. Inhale and then exhale, release everything. Extend the legs out. Heels on the ground. Flip the palms so the palms are facing up. If you'd like, you can walk the shoulder blades in slightly so the heart space is open. And just have a little bit of space between the arm and the side body. Surrender the weights of your heels into the earth. Maybe feel the air pass between the toes. Maybe feel the air pass under the knees. Surrender the weight of your hips to the earth. Feel the belly rise and fall with each breath. Surrender the weight of the shoulders to the earth. The upper arm, the lower arm, back of the hand. Feel the air pass between the fingertips. Surrender the weight, the back of the head, neck relaxed. Feel the air pass in and out of your nostrils, past the upper lip. Let your eyes sink back into their orbits. Let the tongue fall into the lower palate. And imagine your brain sliding to the back of your skull. Nothing left to do, nowhere else to be, just to be at ease. Wherever you are, lost in thought, release that thought and return to your breath. Gentle inhale, feeling the belly rise. Easy exhale, feeling the belly fall. We'll slowly start to bring awareness back to the body. Bring awareness back to fingers, toes, hands, the feet, the ankles, the wrists. And invite some small movements. Maybe make gentle fists with the toes, the hands. Roll the wrists, roll the ankles. Rock the feet side to side. Rotate the arms. Eventually extend the arms overhead, point the toes. Feel that full body stretch. Return the arms back down to your side. Bend one knee, place the sole of the foot on the ground. Then press off that foot and roll over gently onto your side. Using your arm as a pillow, coming into this fetal posture, this recovery posture. We don't want to sit right up from our Shavasana. Get lightheaded. We want to give our body, our nervous system a chance to catch up. After you've taken a couple breaths here, and whenever you're ready, we'll meet up in Sukhasana, our easy cross-legged seated position. So whenever you're ready, press yourself up. Sit on the sit bones, walk the hips back just a little bit. Cross at the ankles, tall spine, open heart, level chin. I want to thank you for joining me today. Hopefully you're really feeling that full body flexibility. Let's take one last breath together to close out. So with an inhale, circle the arms up, touch the palms overhead, and bring the hands down to heart center. The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste.